Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us to learn about how aACE works with the BPR to help you harvest your ideas and bring them to life. My name is Caitlin Nasher, and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing at aACE Software. And today you'll be hearing from Tejas Nurarkar of Optimum Output, creators of the BPR. Before we get started, I'd like to give you an overview of how we typically conduct these webinars. This webinar is being recorded, and after the meeting, we'll send you a link so you can download the recording. All participants are muted, but if you'd like to ask a question about what you're seeing, you can do so at any time using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. And with that, I'd like to turn the microphone over to our presenter. Tejas, take it away.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Great to be here with everybody today. We're excited to show you the BPR. The BPR is a partner of aACE, and the BPR helps our customers organize their SOPs. And a lot of what is central to BPR's ethos is similar to aACE's ethos. So we have a focus on manufacturing. We help you with your processes. We work across all your platforms, and we help make your processes, your internal processes, easier. aACE does it with their ERP, and we do it with our documentation system. So our company is Optimum Output, and our product is the BPR. And essentially, today, companies work with standard operating procedures. You must work with standard operating procedures. In order to scale a business, especially a manufacturing business, you have to have standard operating procedures. But where they may exist on network drives, on shared drives, in Word docs, in Google Docs, in PDFs, bringing all of that documentation together and in one place is really important. And also being able to easily create content is very important. So instead of taking screen snips and adding instructions and building a 5-page SOP on how to log into aACE, the BPR gives you a real easy way to record content, create step-by-step SOPs, but also organize that content and equally share that content. So Caitlin is going to get started and show you a little bit about how you can do that and how the BPR helps us go from that old paradigm of binders or heavy documents, whether physical or digital, and into this new paradigm of a SOP library. The BPR is a searchable SOP library, again, that makes it easy to record and organize and share your information. It's simple, it's fast, and it's secure. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to Caitlin, who's going to go into the BPR, and she's going to show you how you can create an SOP in the BPR. Caitlin, it's all yours.
Great. Well, thank you for that great introduction, Tejas. Let me just go ahead and share my screen. All right, Tejas, can you see my desktop?
I can.
Perfect. So what I'm going to do today is just create a BPR to document how we create an order in aACE. And I'm using an order as an example because it's a very straightforward workflow and we can fly through it easily. Most of you watching this are already familiar with aACE, so I'll be moving pretty quickly just to show you what the BPR can do. The first thing we want to do to record a new process is click on the BPR icon at the top of the screen. So this opens to, you can see the aACE ERP content library. Tejas and his team have prearranged this library with folders that mirror the headings in aACE's main menu. You can see they're alphabetically arranged, but they are the same headings that you see on the side here. To create a new BPR, I just click on the plus button in the bottommost corner. The first thing that the BPR wants me to do is fill in some information about the department that this workflow is for. So I'm just going to select Order Management. Then the title and the description of the workflow. And finally, the role of the staff member who would typically perform or own this workflow. And lastly, because I want to record my process right now, I'm going to go ahead and click Record. Now the BPR is recording all of my clicks. So at the bottom right corner of my screen, you'll notice a pause and a stop button. These tools allow you to pause the recording if, for example, you need to rearrange some things on your screen and you don't want to record those clicks as part of your documentation. And the stop button is pretty self-explanatory. That allows you to stop the recording and begin editing your BPR. So let's get started by navigating to the aACE main menu and clicking on Order Management. And from here, we can click on the Orders module, which opens up our list view. Since we want to document creating a new order, I'm going to click on the New button at the top of the screen and create a new sales order. Now, here we have a blank order. Remember that the BPR documents the process by recording each click that you make. So I'm going to click on Brightside Charter School as our customer. And then I'm going to click into the customer PO field and enter the PO number that the customer provided. And next, I'll add the products that the customer is ordering by clicking into the line item code field under order items. So let's say they want a few student tablets. I can just click on student tablet. And let's say that they want 10 of those. So I'll click into the quantity field and change the quantity to 10. And then I'll click on my refresh field at the bottom to update the subtotal. And the last thing that I'm going to do is save the order. Now, aACE is going to prompt me to open the order, which is what makes it real in the system. So I'm going to go ahead and click Open. Right, and in a second, you're going to see the order go from pending to open. All right, the process of creating an order is now complete. So I'm going to hit that stop button in the corner of my screen to stop the recording. And this brings me to the list of slides that the BPR just captured based on my clicks. Tejas is going to show you all the cool things that you can do with these slides in a minute, but for now, I'm just going to save the BPR. Now, some of you might be asking what happens if you already have usable documentation for some of your processes. For example, aACE has an extensive library of documentation in Knowledge Owl, as many of you have seen. So what's really cool is you can take that documentation, turn it into a BPR. So if you've got a custom process or some customization in aACE, you can take our existing documentation, add it to the BPR, and then add in your custom processes. And now I'm going to show you how you can incorporate that documentation into your BPR library to keep all of your policy and process documentation in one place. Now we're going to start with this PDF help guide I have in the corner. It's called Working with Special Orders, and I actually downloaded this directly from our aACE 5 Knowledge Owl Help Center. So just like before, I'm going to go ahead and open up the BPR library and click the plus button to create a new BPR. And again, the BPR asks me to fill in the same basic information about whom the workflow belongs to and what it's used for. But this time, instead of clicking record to begin recording my clicks, I'm going to click drag and drop. And as you can see, this gives me the option to upload a PDF either by selecting the file or dragging it onto the screen. You can see that the BPR has processed what's in the document. So now it's finished breaking the pages up into slides. I'm going to upload it to our content library. And there it is. The PDF has now been successfully converted to a BPR where you can edit it, add to it, share it with colleagues, and most importantly, keep it together with your custom documentation. And now that we have those two sample BPRs in our library, I'm going to turn the microphone back over to Tejas, who can show you all the cool things that you can do with them.
Awesome, Caitlin. Thanks so much. I'm going to take over the screen share again. And Caitlin, you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, I can.
Great. So again, the BPR, it is a cloud-based process manual. And this cloud-based process manual allows you to access the BPR from all your devices. Now, Caitlin showed you how you can create content using the built-in step-by-step recorder, which in itself saves hours and weeks of time if anyone's created documentation in the past. So that in itself saves time. Also, dragging and dropping your existing PDFs into the BPR, whether they're from Knowledge Owl, an aACE knowledge site, or your existing SOP documentation, saves you a lot of time to get it into this cloud-based SOP library, which is then ultimately searchable. And because it's cloud-based, because Caitlin did what she did on her system, I can, of course, see her documentation on my system. So I'm logged into the same library as Caitlin. I can look at all the different departments that exist here. Let me refresh the library. And once I refresh the library, I know I'm seeing the latest and greatest content. And here I can see the same departments that Caitlin was looking at. Now, if I go into order management, I'm going to see two new BPRs. I see creating an order, and I'm going to see working with special orders. If I click on creating an order, I'm going to view what Caitlin created. And that's also, of course, tracked by the BPR. So all the activity is tracked, and you can generate as an admin a report against that activity, who's created content, who's viewed content, and I'm going to show you that. But I'm going to view this content because I need to create an order right now, and I'm stressed, can't remember how to do it, but luckily I have the BPR, and I'm even more lucky that I have Caitlin who took the time to just quickly run through this. And I can now, step by step, go through the process of creating an order. I've been in this situation myself when I'm backing up a teammate and I have to actually do a process. And it is absolutely a stress reliever when I have the pictures of what to do along with the steps. It gives me so much more confidence that that's what I need to do. So I can see the screenshot that was taken. I can see the department name that this process exists in, order management. I can see the title of this SOP, creating an order. I can see the revision dates. I can see how relevant it is. I can see the caption at the bottom. So Caitlin just left the captions as they were automatically created. I can, of course, edit them, but in my view, I see the caption underneath. I can zoom in. I can zoom out if I want to get more granular within this viewer. So I have this great piece of visual content that Caitlin created in a Jiffy, and I have that right at my fingertips on my device, even though she's at a different location today. So it's great for COVID, for the COVID situation now too that we're in, and really the future paradigm of remote work, being able to create SOPs from wherever you are for your teammates. It's a great solution to these difficult times. So this is the BPR that she created. Let me close that. Here is the PDF BPR that she created as well. So I can click on that to see what does that look like. And here's the step-by-step PDF that she created, and I can zoom in to get a better look. But again, you can record your own, or you can drag and drop your pre-existing procedures to create a real easy library real quickly. But creating and viewing is just one piece of the puzzle. You can, of course, search as well. So you can search the entire library. We use something called OCR, which is optical character recognition. And that searches all of the text on PDFs, on images, the text that all the captions you've added, and it returns results based upon that. So whatever search term I put in, it'll return the results based on the text that it finds wherever that text exists. So having a well-organized SOP library is important, but if you can't find what you need to, you can use that search icon. So viewing, creating, searching for content, that's all important. But in the world of manufacturing, you also need to, of course, be able to update your SOPs. So I'm going to update one of Caitlin's SOPs. I'm going to edit the creating an order procedure. I'm going to right click on it. And here I get a variety of options. I'm going to show you all of these options one by one, starting with edit. So once I click on edit, it will open up what Caitlin created in the BPR editor. showed you the viewer and how you consume content, and this is the editor and where you edit content. And here, if I would like to delete steps, I can delete steps if there's some extraneous steps. I can, of course, edit my captions. And here I can even add things like links. So I can say here, before starting, go to www.google.com to search for the customer info. I could add that link here, and that'll hyperlink when I'm in the viewer. And I can see my additional slides down here. I can keep, of course, deleting. I can move slides and their corresponding captions up and down. So if I move step 5 up, it'll move the caption from 5 to 4, but it also moved the screenshot, of course. So each of these captions on the left side are numbered and they have a corresponding screenshot. So if I move things up and down, of course, the screenshot will go with it. It's like a series, just like PowerPoint. I can also add steps. So I can add a text slide. This is on Windows only. So this text slide feature is formatting is on Windows only. You can add text slides on Mac. The formatting, it doesn't allow you to do bullets, which I'm showing you right here, but on Windows, you can do these bullets on these text slides. So I can add a bulleted list, for example. So I can say step 1, call the company. Step 2, submit the order. So within the visual series, I can have a bulleted list for a text series, for example. And I can save this and it will go into the BPR. I can also add an image. So I can upload an image from any of my devices, Android, iOS, Mac. I'm going to show you the mobile app in a second, or Windows. So I can upload an image. I have an image here of my warehouse. So I can upload that image in the series. And the caption, I can say something like, once ordered, ship. So that gives you some basic idea of how you can edit the captions and how you can add text slides and add physical slides, for example, move slides up and down. 2 other really important features are record. So you can, if I want to add some more slides to this automatically, I have 12 slides here. If I'm missing a few screen grabs, I can press record. I can grab a couple other screens and I can press stop, and those screens will amend at the bottom. So you see 13, 14, 15 right at the bottom. So amending with record is really easy and really important. So you can add any content you want to a BPR. And then finally, within the editor, a nice, simple, powerful feature is the ability to edit the images. I can press edit here, and I can do things like crop. So I can crop an image. I can zoom in on a specific area. I can save this edit. And there you can see the zoomed in area and the specific area here that I zoomed into. So I can save this, and once I save it, it goes into the BPR as a revision, a version 2. So I can see this right here, and I'm going to save it, and it goes in as a version 2. And that is something that is absolutely critical for SOP management. Things change, but how do you actually track revisions? So what you'll see is we show you the latest and greatest SOP in the BPR, but if I want to go and see how a process has evolved over time, I can right-click on it. I can go to version history, and I can see 2 different versions. So if I click on version 2, I'll see version 2, which has the latest and the greatest updates I made to Caitlin's procedure. So here's the hyperlink I added, which I can click on, and it'll go to Google. Here is the bulleted text slide that I saw, and Caitlin can see it on her system, or we can see it on a mobile device too. And here's the physical image that we uploaded here. So you can create a nice series of beautiful work instructions and edit them. Caitlin starts, I can continue making it really, really nice. Same thing works with the PDF procedure. So essentially, once it's brought into the BPR, you can edit those PDFs. So maybe you have some screenshots on a existing PDF. I can edit this, and I can just select that area. So if I have existing documentation with screenshots, I can really easily just crop out the stuff that doesn't matter, just keeping in the stuff that does matter, save it, and again, it goes in as revision 2. So really important if you do things like compliance and ISO compliance, it's very important to have version control. Caitlin, any questions or anything you think I missed on the editing of content, the searching of content, or the version control?
No, I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A queue, and I think you covered all of that really well.
Great. Thanks, Caitlin. So the other options I'll show you on the right click on your menu are you can share content. So you can share content via a QR code. So if it's a warehouse procedure, you can share content via a QR code. You can also share content via a link. So if I want to share this procedure with a teammate, I can copy this link, generate a link, and then send it over to a relative teammate. And that teammate can if they're in that same department as mine and their work relates to mine, can send it to them and say, hey, can you do this procedure? And they can do it. So that's a really powerful feature. Now I'm going to show you the QR feature in a moment. I'm going to come back there, but that links feature, it's a really important feature. But as an administrator, if you're an administrator, you can also manage those links. So you can see who's created a link. Have they made it public? What is that link? Who has generated it? And if you want to kind of get rid of those links because you don't think it should be linked, it should just be in the BPR and there should be no link to it, you can delete that as an admin. So the management of links was as important as creating links. So security is something that's paramount for the BPR. If you want to learn more about our security, please go to thebpr.com/security to learn about all the things we do for security. But security and managing links is something that's very important. You can also restrict access to the BPR to just your facility using a feature called IP whitelist. You can manage security of your users. So you can add your users and you can determine, are those users going to be read-only? Will they be administrators? Will they be able to export? So you have full granular control over your users. So with that, I'm going to just jump over here and I'm going to go over to the generate report feature. And this is where you can generate reports. This is where you can find out who's viewed content, who's edited content, and basically it gives you all that information and you can get that report via email in an Excel spreadsheet. So if you have ISO compliance requirements, you can get all of those details via email and give them to your ISO auditor and they can see everything that you've created, what's been updated, how it's gone. So anything that you would say, Caitlin, that about the user permissions?
Absolutely. That is one area where aACE and the BPR dovetail very nicely in terms of our philosophy on security. We're both very conscious of making sure that every view is logged, everything that you might need to know about who is doing what and when is very easily accessible in both systems. So that's really cool to see that the BPR and aACE work along the same wavelength there.
Yeah, great, Caitlin. And the same way, our ethoses are so connected around design and systems and ERP, around user permissions and security, it absolutely is as well. So I'm going to log out of this library and I'm going to log into one other library to show you a little bit more of that QR code functionality. And in order to do that, I have a sample process for you here that we've built to show you how the QR code functionality can really generate a lot of value for companies that have both digital processes as well as physical processes. So your business doesn't start and stop on a computer screen. Of course, you use aACE to run your business on your computer and you want to document those procedures, but you also want to be able to document the procedures that happen in your warehouse. So for example, how do you prepare, pack, and ship an order? So here's a nice step-by-step instruction on how you could prepare, pack, and ship an order. So here's the line. You want to prepare the boxes. You want to pack them this way. You want to add your label, and then you want to enter it into the ERP. So these these steps, it would have much more value if they were out on your shop floor. So that's where the QR code functionality really comes into play. So I can go over here. I can right click on prepare, pack, and ship an order. I can say share. I can go to the QR code function. And when I go to the QR code function, what you'll notice is that the QR code, it comes up on your screen. Now you might think, okay, I'm giving a QR code. I can print this QR code. It's going to go into my shop floor. But what about a user who comes in, like a customer who comes in to my shop floor just by chance? And I don't want that customer to be able to see any of my procedures, or a prospect or a vendor. What would happen if I printed this and they scanned it? Well, security is built into that too. All QR codes that you link to a BPR file, like this prepare, pack, and ship order, they're encrypted. So they're only viewable by your instance of the BPR app, which means that if anyone were to scan it with their own phone, like their own phone's camera, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It basically would give them a, hey, we can't do that right now, or you can't scan that QR code. So I'm gonna show you how you scan those QR codes when I go over to the mobile app. So that's a real important feature, that's security. One other thing in terms of creating physical content for your warehouses, Caitlin showed you how you can drag and drop PDFs. You can also drag and drop images into the BPR. So let's say I'm going to put in a procedure into shipping. So let's put it in shipping, and let's say, again, pack the box. Description is how to pack the box. And let's say the owner is shipping. I can go over here to drag and drop. And when I go to drag and drop, Caitlin showed you how you can drag and drop a PDF, but you can also drag and drop an image. So if you have a series of images, you can drag and drop them right here. You can upload them. It'll go into the BPR, and you'll get it right here. So it'll save this image as a slide in the BPR, and you'll be able to save this into your library. So let me save it here. And then it'll go into the library under shipping. And then I can see that those warehouse procedures here, basically, and any of those images that I pulled out from my desktop there. So I'm gonna just pause here for a moment. Caitlin, is there anything you'd like to speak about, or anything you think I missed in terms of talking about how you can create content using physical images?
No, I think you pretty much hit on everything, and I'm not seeing anything in the Q&A queue just yet.
Okay, great. So now I'm gonna go over to the mobile app. So as I said, the BPR is a cloud app, so it works across all your devices. Caitlin created on Mac. She saved 2 different procedures on Mac. I showed you on Windows how to access those procedures. I showed you on Windows how I could edit those procedures. And Caitlin and I are also both administrators of this library. So she and I can absolutely at the same time be able to add and remove users. So because it's a cloud-based app, it essentially allows you to do everything you would want to do from Mac on Windows. It would allow you to do whatever you would want to do from the office from home. So that's something that's really important, this SOP library. But the fact that this SOP library is cloud-based, it means that regardless of how things change, if your facility is one in Montana, one in Chicago, one in Philadelphia, you know everybody's working from the same place. And that's also, of course, important, not just on Mac and not just on Windows today. It's also very important for the mobile. So more and more people are going to be working from their mobile phones because of working from home. So I'm now sharing my mobile phone. Caitlin, can you see my mobile phone?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So what you'll see here is you'll see the BPR mobile app on my desktop of my iPhone. So we have iPhone and Android, and I can click on it and it'll open up in the BPR app. So here I'll see the same procedures that I saw on my desktop. So what I can see here is prepare, pack, and ship order. So I'm going to click on that, and it's going to open up that step-by-step procedure that I showed you on my desktop. And I can swipe through the same way I cycled through on my desktop. I can swipe through on my mobile phone. And in the bottom right corner, you'll see a scan button. So the scan button allows you, this is the area of your instance of the BPR that is your gateway into your QR codes that are encrypted for your facility. So if I go to scan, I'm going to pull that QR code scan in the desktop app as well. So you can see my mobile phone and you can see my desktop app at the same time. I'm going to press scan on my mobile phone. And now I'm going to come over here. You can see me holding my phone, and I'm going to scan that QR code. And that's going to bring up that same procedure. So now I can use the power of the BPR to collect all of my SOPs, all my PDF SOPs, all of my screen captures, all of my aACE ERP procedures. I can use that power, but I can also use on my mobile phone, I can also access all of that same information and extend the power of the BPR to my physical spaces using the encrypted QR codes. Caitlin, could you speak a little bit to the point of your customers and aACE customers and the physical and digital processes and how the BPR could play a role in that?
Sure. So a lot of our customers have customized aACE to suit their particular workflows. So what I can see you using the BPR for is taking some of our help guides from our knowledge base, as we saw earlier with the PDF, and keeping the parts that apply to you, but also adding in anything that is customized. If you've added a field on a form that needs to be filled out, you can add that with the BPR. If you have a whole new module that was built just for you, you can document that and have that documentation stored same way that you would have all of your other processes stored all in one secure place. And as far as the mobile goes, we have a lot of aACE users who are in the job shop, who are out on the floor. They use the aACE Job Shop app or our Pick, Pack, and Ship app. And having all of that documentation in one place, it's easy to access via mobile devices. That would be great for them as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Caitlin. Because I think it's real important while we show you the technology and what the BPR can do for you, that Caitlin, who works so closely with you, talks also about the applicability in all your environments. So we've gone through viewing content, creating content, editing content, some of the admin functionality, the mobile and desktop functionality. The final piece that I'm going to show you is something as it relates to something that a lot of you use, and that's 3D content. So 3D content is something we've also enabled in the BPR. So you can capture your own content, you can drag and drop PDFs, but you can also drag and drop 3D content. Now that could be the case for your teams. You might want to give 3D content, or you might want to also give 3D content for your customers. Now, 3D content for your customers is something that is really, really unique, and they can access it from the mobile phone, but they can also access it from the desktop. From the web, we have a web portal for 3D content where you can upload your 3D content. So that is located at web.thebpr.com, and you're able to log in. And once you log into that 3D portal, you're able to upload your OBJ files or FBX files or Revit files or SolidWorks files, and you're able to see your content right here. So it's really powerful here in this web viewer, but that then uploads it into the BPR, which I'm going to show you how that works on the mobile app as well in a second. The key for us is we want to help you build a great manual for your teams, of course, but also you can use the BPR for your customers. So you can use the BPR, not just, again, for your team, but also for your customers. So if I go to the BPR here, you'll see this is typically what a BPR library could look like for your team. But you can also create not just process manuals with the BPR, but also product manuals. So you can have things like product safety, product usage. And you can, if you give them access via the mobile app, they can look at your 3D files. You can also build 2D files. So you can see I am a Cybertruck fan. So here's a sample based and technical drawing of the Cybertruck. So you could give user manuals on safety, on maintenance, on usage. Your customers could also potentially add content into their BPR library with you. So maybe your top manufacturing customers have their own BPR library, and then you can create a dynamic place for not process manuals, but product manuals. So that's all I wanted to share in terms of the BPR and how we can help you with your process manuals and product manuals. So Caitlin, anything you think I missed on the 3D manuals or the product manuals?
Not that I can think of. I'll give it another couple of seconds in case anyone is still typing in their questions. All right, I guess that's all for today, but we hope to see you next Tuesday at 12 noon Eastern for our next webinar on templates, campaigns, and rate cards. Before we wrap up, I'd like to thank Tejas for joining us today and for giving such a fantastic presentation on the BPR. It's a great tool, and I hope you all reach out to him and find out how you can use it to help keep your process documentation easy to edit and secure. I'd also like to remind you that you will get a link to this recording so you can watch it again or share it with colleagues who weren't able to join us today. If you think of any questions that we didn't cover, you can always reach out to us at sales@acesoft.com or to Tejas directly at tejas@optimumoutput.com, and we'll be happy to get you an answer. You can also sign up for future webinars at acesoft.com/webinars. Thanks again, everyone, and thank you again, Tejas, and enjoy the rest of your week.